This is a brand new Samsung Galaxy Fold 4. No, wait a second. Oh, my bad. This is a brand new Samsung Galaxy Fold 4. And let me just get right to the point. I don't want to waste any of your time. I just got this phone a couple of days ago, and I have noticed something that is very weird to me, so that's why I'm sharing it. The problem is with the hinge. And let me tell you what I'm talking about. Let me explain. So this year they redesigned the hinge, made it much, well, not much, but made it a little bit shorter, as you can see here. And if I remember the presentation correctly, they kind of explained that instead of gears in the previous generation hinge, in this Fold 3 over here, they now use some sort of metal rods that kind of move in and out like this. If I remember it correctly, I wasn't paying too much attention, to be honest. So I got this phone. I'm super excited. New phone, as always. Supposed to be an upgrade from this one. And, it comes out of the box like this. Open. It looks great. I go ahead and close it. I don't think much of it. Then I go open again. And I just notice it feels weird. And let me just give a quick disclaimer. It's not the first time I've noticed this, but the last time I did, and I'll talk about it in a minute. Like I said, I want to kind of get it all out right away. But the last time I used the Fold 4, before I decided to order one for myself, I felt the same thing, but I just wasn't sure if those were like finalized production units or still some kind of pre-production stuff. But the hinge here feels different from my Fold 3 hinge. And I heard from some people that it feels different from the Fold 2 hinge and the Fold 1 hinge as well. It kind of makes sense. I mean, it's a different hinge design inside. I was under impression that Samsung kind of promised that it's going to be smaller, but going to perform and feel the same. Well, it doesn't feel the same to me. So what I feel here is when I open it, it doesn't open smoothly. They're distinct, almost like bumps that I feel when I open the phone, like right here. There's one, and I know it's hard to demonstrate in video. Like I might be, just making it up and just pretending, but I'm gonna try my best to show. So let me just go and try to open it and see if you can spot the parts where it just opens unevenly. And trust me, I feel it in my hands. Do this again. Okay, now let me explain you what I feel. When I open it, right around here to here, there's like a bump. So what I mean, it slows down, the resistance increases, and then almost like, it passes that point and it gets looser again. And then around here, it does the same thing again. It kind of slows down with resistance, and then I almost feel like something, goes over a hump, and then it continues to open smoother again. And the faster you go, the more you feel it. The slower you go, the less you feel it, almost nothing. Look how beautiful when it opens up. The reflections, so nice. And when closing, it also feels a little bit different. So it kind of starts on smoothly, then right around here, again, right around the same spot, I feel the resistance of the hinge increases pretty drastically. And, it almost feels like I have to start forcing it closed. And then closer to the end, it just snaps closed. Now, that's why I have this phone here, so I can compare. With the Fold 3, I feel nothing of this sort at all. It opens completely smoothly all the way, very even pressure. It feels very nice. Closing it is even better because it's actually very light to close, and again, it's very smooth. Absolutely no problem there. And this is kind of, what I have a muscle memory for. That's why I instantly notice the difference. This one, I start and it almost clicks. Obviously, you can't hear anything because the mechanism's all inside there. but this is the experience I have. Right here is the first bump. I'm just gonna call it that, right there. And then around here, it does it again. And then closing it, starts off okay, just normal. And then around here, the resistance increases, and then it shuts closed. Is this a problem? Is this a design flaw of some sort? I don't know, but I don't think so. So I want to make this clear. I don't think this phone is defective or anything like that, deserves a recall or anything like that. I think it's just a different hinge design, so it feels a bit different. And I think this might be the reason why so many people say that it just feels great and they just don't notice it. There might be two reasons for that, actually. And it's also possible that it goes away after some time of use. I heard some reports that it gets better after a couple of weeks. So maybe it just needs to sort of loosen up and, you kind of break it in, and then it gets smoother. Right now, I'd say it feels a bit rough to me. The second possible explanation I have for this, that why not everyone actually notices this, that if it's some kind of problem really that affects some of these phones, it just doesn't affect them all. I think that might also be a possible explanation. So maybe something with production, I don't know, but it's possible that it doesn't affect all of the units out there. Yeah, I almost lost that line of thought, but came back to me. I've seen some YouTube reviews where a reviewer mentioned that it feels to them exactly the same as the Fold4 did. And having one in front of me that definitely doesn't feel exactly the same makes me wonder if there's some units that are not affected by this and there's some units that are. So maybe kind of like a hit or miss situation. I don't know if that's the case. I guess the time will show if more reports come out. There are definitely some people that have noticed the same thing. I've seen people on the internet asking about it, and I engaged with some myself. We talked about it a little bit. I was sharing my experience. And I have a lot of friends who use Samsung devices who got these new phones, and they tell me they just don't feel anything. They think I'm crazy. Like, what are you talking about? Well, maybe they don't think I'm crazy, but they just tell me that they don't notice it on their device. Kind of makes me wonder if that means there's some devices that have it, some devices that don't. And maybe it's just something that's going to work itself out after a few days. So far, after about 2 or 3 days of use, to be honest, I haven't been using it much. I haven't set it up yet. I don't feel any improvement in this behavior. Is this a deal breaker? I think it might be for some people. I'm not even sure if it is for me yet or not. I'm still thinking about it. And there are more reasons for that, not just, this possible issue with the hinge. And again, I don't even know if it's even an issue. It just feels different. It might be, it might be on purpose. Maybe they try to make it different. I don't want to go into too much rumbling on that, but I have some theories, whatever. If you're curious, you can ask in the comments. So does this mean this phone is defective? This phone sucks? No one should buy it? I don't think so, not at all. I think overall the phone is still great. I just want to put this out there in case you get one and you feel something is different, and you go on the internet, you go on YouTube trying to figure out if other people have noticed the same thing. I kind of want you to know that you're not alone. I hope this doesn't cause some people to notice something wrong with their hinge that they didn't notice before, and kind of give them any kind of feeling of frustration because of that. I hope that doesn't happen. If the phone works fine for you, it's perfectly fine. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with this phone. Just because the hinge doesn't feel as smooth as the Fold4 did doesn't mean that the phone is bad. It's a different hinge. It might be just simply the fact that we are sort of back to the first generation of new tech, because when they designed the original hinge, it was a pretty cool engineering achievement. They had second generation and third generation of phones using the same technology. Now this year, with the fourth generation of folds, they changed the way it actually works inside. So we're sort of back to Gen 1 of this technology. So it might just need a little bit refinement. And I'm sure, next year and the following year, they'll continue to just get better than they are now. I don't know if I'll be doing a full comparison, probably not. Overall, I think these phones are very similar. Now, there's one other thing about the Hinge that I kind of wanted to mention, and this is not necessarily any kind of problem here, but with my Fold 3, I've noticed since I got it, whenever you just open it normally and just let it stop where it wants to stop, I want to see if I can demonstrate. I noticed that it doesn't open like 100% flat. So see, there's still just a bit of an angle there. It goes straight, 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 then it sort of turns there to where it wants to fold. You can sort of very lightly, not forcing or anything, but you can sort of just push it back a little bit, and you'll get into that perfectly straight position. So this was kind of the thing with the Fold 3 the whole time. Super smooth. I was hoping that with the Fold 4, this thing would be addressed and it would just open up perfectly straight, flat. So I open it again, I'm not pushing it or forcing it or anything. I just open and it stops where it wants to stop. And when we look at it, I see this. You see this? Again, I can just push it back a little bit and it goes into that straight position. So that's another little thing that kind of disappointing, but that's just honestly no different from Fold 3, so I can't really complain there. So again, I open, you just make sure I demonstrate properly. I open it and I just let it stop where it wants to stop. I don't, I'm not forcing it back or anything. And we look at it, you can see again, maybe not as bad, but going straight, and then it just kind of almost like turns slightly, very slightly. Most people, I'm sure, will never even notice this. Push it back a little bit, and it gets straight. So yeah, there's the Hinge situation. The new Hinge on the Galaxy Fold 4. Is it good or bad? It's just different. If you guys have any comments about this, please let me know. If you notice anything similar, please let me know. One of my theories that maybe they made it stiffer on purpose, so you can have more angles with this flex mode. See, this phone just will not stay open if it's pretty low angle like this. However, this guy does. And that, that may be, but at the same time, I would rather have a smoother feeling Hinge than the super low flex mode angle that I will never ever need anyway. Right. Well, thanks for watching if you made it all the way through this, all the way to here. But if you're feeling something, I hope this helps you to know that you're not the only one out there.